Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In this class, I would like to continue the same topic from nursing research, that is data collection methods. And we have discussed several types of data collection methods commonly we used. And along with that, this is one of the method checklist repeatedly asked question for 5 marks for nursing research especially, and second year CET also it is included. Just have a look the checklist, what are the contents are there in the checklist and where we are using this checklist and what kind of data we can collect by using of checklist. So a checklist is a simple device consisting of prepared list of items. So what are the things we need to assess that we will check it and we will include, which are thought by the researcher to be relevant to the problem which is being studied. The checklist consists of a list of items with a place to check or mark yes or no. So this is the word we can say. A checklist is a list of all the things that you need to do. So means in your research study, what are the things you want to study, you want to observe, or you want to collect the data. Those things will be listed out and you will collect a complete information to find out things that you need to take somewhere, which you make in order to ensure that you do not forget anything. So let's call it as a checklist. So what are the characteristics of checklist? So it is observe one respondents at one time. This checklist will help you to evaluate an person or an object or an event or a situation. It helps to observe and use only carefully prepared checklist to avoid more complex traits. So we have to use some carefully prepared checklist only we have to use. And the observer should be trained how to observe also. Otherwise, the making a checklist it is useless. We have to train the observer or a researcher how to check it and how to evaluate also, what to observe and how to record the observed behavior. And what is the how to construct a checklist? This checklist can be already prepared one by the previous researchers. Sometimes we can prepare by ourselves the checklist according to our project work and according to our research and according to the elements of the study. You can make a checklist by your own, and that can be a constructive one. It is always so expresses each item in a clear simple language. When you make a checklist, what you have to do is it should be clear and in simple language, and the list of items in the checklist may be continuous or divided into groups of related items. So like suppose you want to study about the diabetes, their lifestyle, and in their lifestyle again so many side headings also may be there, like regarding their food, regarding their exercise, regarding their lifestyle, regarding their habits. Like that you can make a separate divided subgroup elements also. Avoid negative statements whenever possible and ensure that each item has a clear response, yes or no, true or false, and review the items independently. And you have to check once again is it correct or not. So what are the three essential types of checklist means? Procedural checklist, communication checklist, and project checklist. So procedural checklist means suppose in your first year BSc nursing you want to see a bed making. For that you should have a one checklist or one evaluation criteria, so that what are the things need to be expected from that procedure you can able to understand. So list steps that must followed in order. And communication checklist means encourage communication in the organization. Suppose regarding the employees, if you have established a new policies or procedures, that policy and procedures need to be communicated, and that communication things what need to be communicated, we will make a checklist and we will try to circulate in the organization. Next, third one is project checklist. So it is mostly used for doing any project work or any research within an organization or by the sponsored researchers. So we will make a checklist what are the things need to be checked. So this is the examples of procedural checklist. I think those who have already completed the BSc nursing, they know that when you are doing like seminar or any lesson plan presentations, these kind of checklist you will carry to evaluate your performances. So there are different types of this is procedural checklist, and communicative checklist. So like this, different kinds of checklists are available. And when you come back to the advantages of checklist, and this checklist is really helpful to evaluate the individual in a different wide ranges like physical, social, economical and cultural. In different areas you can able to evaluate the individual by using of checklist, and it is very less expensive, and the design can be highly specific and adequate. We can able to evaluate the individuals very clearly, and checklist reduces the chances of errors in the observation. It will, because what need to be evaluated, it is mentioned very clearly, so it will reduce the mistakes or errors or malinterpretations in the data also. And it is useful to obtain a large amount of data, and it saves time, and it is useful in evaluating and learning activities, and it helps in evaluating the procedural works especially, and it has objectivity in evaluating the characteristics. That means when you are evaluating also, you can able to justify why you have given that score also. So that much value is there for checklist, and I prefer most of the time this checklist for seminars and lesson plans, so that we can able to evaluate a accurate evaluation from for the students. And disadvantages does not indicate quality of performance, and so usefulness of checklist is limited, and it is very easy for certain important items to be omitted in a check. Sometimes certain things may not be evaluated if you are preparing in the checklist also. It is not in your hands, and it is beyond your evaluation performance, so that cannot be included in the checklist. So that's the major drawbacks you can see with the checklist. So this is also repeatedly asked question for 5 marks. If you really like my class, please do subscribe. You can just listen and write the exam, but if you want to get a high score, you need to refer some standard textbooks. Thank you.